Right. Um, I've got all these CDs here, and uh, honestly, I haven't looked at most of these for about uh, at least 5 years. Um, I kind of dug through some stuff, and yeah, like that Ramstein one over here. Well, basically, I'm gonna be moving out, and I don't really want to take um, what I'm not really listening to anymore. But since I got so many CDs, I don't even know what the time is. I'm not even tired, so I thought I might just make like a video, just going through all this stuff here, and then deciding whether I want to keep any of these or not. Um, so what I reckon, maybe because everything's inside the box, so maybe I'll just make it like. Uh, I guess I'll inspect it. I'll put it back in the box if I want to keep it, and I'll leave it out. If I just want to leave it there. Right, let's see. My knees are gonna kill me from kneeling down, so I might just sit like this. Oh, but then I can't see. You know, I'll grab a chair. Right. Okay. Let's start with this one. So I got into these guys when it's probably about 2016, probably. About the same time I was getting to stuff like Green Day. I think this is their first album. It's a pretty good album. I think growing up, what is it? Yeah, Grohl was on. It was in Scooby Doo, the movie. Yeah, I used to listen to this a lot. Just like from the front to the back. Yeah, I want to keep this one. So let's chuck it. Let's chuck it down here. Another classic punk. Don't need to go through much about this one. I'm definitely keeping this one here. I think the first song I heard from these guys was Anarchy in the UK. And I started getting into the other stuff as well. I forgot what the one was about abortion. I think it was Bodies. That one is really good too. Also, Hollows in the Sun is a classic there. Yeah, cool. Let's keep that one. This is immediate yes, this one. So I got this one from Dixon's in Blackburn. Insane mixing on this album. Like, it's just got this disgusting guitar tone. It's just super chunky and heavy. It's just very nice on the ears to sort of listen to. Probably some of the strongest stuff musically. No, Reese is pretty good. But I don't have that one. I've just got Muta here. So yeah, that's another keep. Let's go turn my computer. Right, I touched the mouse and it just turned on for some reason, so it's really annoying. Okay, let's put all this stuff over here so I don't confuse it. Alright, we'll keep going with, actually, you know, I'll put this here, because I don't want to kick Primus out of the queue. Alright, the Primus singles, so because I couldn't find any of their just normal albums back in the day, I had to get like this compilation. I used to listen to these guys a lot, but now it's just kind of casually. So I realized the camera orientation is that way. It's probably quite hard to see the text, so I might just take it out. Oh, that doesn't help. If I got the cheese themed, I think it was Jerry was a race car driver. The music video had that kind of thing. Yeah, this one's a definite keep. Yep, nice. Love how it's literally packaged like a like food. Okay, Portishead. I don't think I can find any reason, unfortunately, to hold on to this one. I think like someone gave it to me. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like trip hop, I think, but that's probably wrong. Anyway, this is gonna go, so I'm gonna put it here, probably outside the box. Probably same as The Police, this one here. I kind of bought this album back in the day. It's a compilation again, isn't it? Was it an actual album? Yeah, no, it's a compilation. Yeah, I just didn't quite. It wasn't my thing, so yeah. This thing is great. Just yeah, it didn't really hit me quite as well as the other stuff I was listening to at the time. So yeah. Okay, I can see the two Pantera albums here. So you got Cowboys from Hell, which came right after their I think they were doing like glam metal sort of stuff for a while before they kind of switched to this super heavy style. I think in terms of music wise, I think Cowboys from Hell is just a little bit better than Vulgar Display of Power. Although Walk was probably the first song I heard from these guys. Although I wonder if I was hearing the Pantera version first or the Avenged Sevenfold cover. But anyway, I'm keeping both of these. These are all great. So yeah. Okay, now I definitely remember some black metal stuff I've got in here. I don't remember exactly where Heartland Records is, but I remember it was like year 11 and I was on like a zoo excursion at my high school and I decided to take the tram down a little bit rather than go home straight away, and I found this really cool CD shop. Yeah. I think I was listening to stuff like Burzum and Dark Throne at the time, and I just sort of wanted to get a taste of where heavy metal sort of started, and yeah, got Venom here, black metal. I'm definitely gonna keep this one because I'd like to listen to this album again. Because I just looked at all these songs. I don't remember exactly what they sound like, but I'm interested enough, so let's keep that one. All right, now I've got a bunch of Typo Negative coming up. So this album was probably the first one I bought, and I remember Angry Inch, and I think maybe Nettie as well. But it was the bonus CD that had stuff like Christian Woman, and that made me sort of think, oh well, this song actually was on another album. I think it was either Bloody Kisses. Yeah, I think it was Bloody Kisses. Yeah, it was. Let's get the first one over here. These are definitely keeps. The first album was so weird, but so cool. So I couldn't be bothered paying for like all the other albums. I just got the whole compilation here. They come in like this super thin little inserts here. Like that. You can literally throw these. I think October Rust is still my favorite out of the Typo Negative Discog. Because I still listen to Wolf Moon and like what else is on that one? Probably My Girlfriend's Girlfriend. I listen to that like every few days or so. It's such a great album. Cool. Let's see. 3 Days Grace. Yeah, surprisingly heavy. Yeah, I Hate Everything About You. That is a classic song. That's actually the first one I listened to from these guys. Yeah, they play in like Drop C or something like that with guitars. I remember. Cool. I think Take Me Under. Oh, that one I just sort of remember just looking at that. Cool. Let's keep 3 Days Grace. Alright, let's see if we can put all the System of a Down together. But I already know I'm going to keep all of these. That's it. Cool. So I basically have all their main stuff. So I've got Self-Titled, Toxicity, Steal Their album, and then the double album, so Mesmerize and Hypnotize. Let's go with the first album. So Chop Suey was the first song I heard, which was on the Toxicity album, but it was this album that really got me into these guys. So I was just like at the end of primary school, so this was like 2013. I remember like giving this album a listen before I went to the Gold Coast for holidays, and I was like, "Whoa, this stuff is really like it's super heavy and dark." At that time, I was just listening to stuff like Linkin Park and like a very little bit of Slipknot before I got more into them, and yeah, they really haven't made an album like their first one. It just feels super angry compared to the other stuff that they did later on. And then Toxicity has very polished kind of sound. And I believe still this album and Toxicity were like recorded in the same period. Because I think in the behind the scenes for Toxicity, you can hear some of the songs they did for still this album as well. Although I personally think Toxicity has the better. I think it just sounds better overall in terms of like the music, the composition. But that's not to say Still This album is not bad as well. There's just less things on Still This album that I can really replay, if that makes sense. Yeah, Mr. Jack is good. The first, Chicken Stew, the opening is great. Oh, Inner Vision, that's the one. They're like demos for, I think, Mr. Jack, and I want to say New Guns, but I'm not too sure. Oh, and I think it was New Guns. There's really old demos of these that are really cool. So if you're into System of a Down, you should check those out. With the double album, so I think I've always been a Hypnotized kind of person. I had the most memories of listening to Hypnotized when I was in grade 7, so 2014. Went to like Rosebud or something like that, and I just downloaded the whole album onto my phone, so I was listening to this quite a lot. So yeah, that's where my memories are. I think, well, on Mesmerize, BYOB is probably also one of the first songs I listened to after Chop Suey. I think Old School Hollywood is very cool as well. Oh, Radio Video as well. That was one of my favorites. Yeah, let's put that there. Also, I remember listening to Toxicity a lot. I used to catch the bus to school in Toorak, and when I caught the bus before I switched to train, I used to always listen to Toxicity. It was like a 40-minute trip from where I was to get to Toorak. So yeah, cool. And then we jumped right to Steel Panther, which is like completely different in terms of genre. I don't know. This is a classic album. Pretty good mixing. Hard to say much about this album besides it's really good. But I can talk about Satchel a little bit. I mean, he's a huge George Lynch fan. And I had no idea who George Lynch was until I started getting into ESP guitars. And then went up down this whole rabbit hole. And then like some guy was telling me about Dokken as well. So I was buying like an ESP guitar of him, and then he was kind of saying, "Oh, George Lynch is so sick." And then I was like, "Well, a lot of people were saying George Lynch, so I got checked out, and yeah, he's awesome." For like their kind of parody band style, they were really good musicians. It's like Steel Panther, so I love their stuff. It's like so funny. Although I can see how people wouldn't like them. But you gotta laugh sometimes. Not my favorite Static X album. I'm gonna not keep this one. Wisconsin Death Trip is 1,000 times better. I wish I had the CD for that. Okay, Slipknot. This is probably the only Slipknot album I have, which is funny because I Wear is my favorite album by these guys, and then self-titled next. Yeah, let's keep this one. I mean, we can talk about a little bit this one. Obviously, Duality was one of the first songs I got into by Slipknot, and then I started going down like Spit It Out, and I'm sure there's another song. This was about 2013. I started getting into these guys. Again, same period. It's sort of the end of high school. Probably Vermilion is actually one of the ones I remember very early on, as well. I ended up making like a recreation of that song in GarageBand just because I got bored. After I did all my homework and stuff like that. That was cool. Yeah, Pulse of the Maggots is great as well. Cool, let's keep this one. Alright, I need to be careful. I'm running out of space. Okay. So, yeah, I've got the triple collection of Sisters of Mercy, and also I think I've got Floodland as well on vinyl, I think, as well. So I started getting to these guys probably, I want to say 2017. It was quite late. It's the same period I was getting into like stuff like Susie and the Banshees as well, and the Birthday Massacre. Yeah, I'd definitely love to keep this one and just listen to stuff again because I remember Mother Russia and what's that? Yeah, Dominion and Mother Russia, and also Lucretia, such a classic, as well. I remember Rock and a Hard Place as well. And what else? Yeah, there's not much from Vision thing I remember, so I think it'd be good to listen to this again. Almost 9 years later since I started getting these guys, so let's get that. Alright, I need to figure out how to sort this system out, so I might just push everything like this. Oh dear, I can see some cursed things coming up here. Okay, we'll start with this one, the Megadeth 5 album set. I kind of thought it was cool at first, but this is gonna be like like the Rust in Peace sort of, I don't know what they did, like a remaster, and Dave did all his vocals again for Rust in Peace, and it's like shit. It really sucks. I have a vinyl that's like a I think it's like remastered, but it's got the original vocals and everything, and that's just so much better than this stuff. So I'm gonna actually not take this with me. Once you listen to the original vocals on Rust in Peace, and you compare them to like when he did them again, like nearly everyone prefers the way they did it back in the day. When Nick Menzel was Nick Menzel was still alive actually when they did that remaster. But yeah, it was when the whole Nick Menzel and Marty Friedman were the band. Cool. What have we got here? So I'm definitely gonna keep all the Linkin Park stuff. I'll get to that in a sec. Okay, here we go. Not much to say. I'm definitely keeping this one. So I. Oh wait. So what I remember is that there is this was the remaster in 2011. there was another one in like the early 2000s, I think, and they had a really weird mix on it when they remastered it. This is definitely the superior version. There's also, yeah, Peace Sells, the classic. I haven't listened to My Last Words in a very long time. That's the closing song of this album. Wake Up Dead, I definitely remember learning on guitar at some stage, and so did Bad Omen as well, which is such a sick song. Cool, let's keep Peace Sells. Okay, what's here? Let's put it this way. Okay, I'm gonna group Linkin Park all together because I said I'm gonna keep all these Linkin Park stuff, and then more Linkin Park. I'm just gonna go through them and just talk about them. Oh, hang on. Well, I've got this as well. So, not the original copy. I think it's another remaster, I believe. Yeah, another very good one. They just chucked on a bunch of live performances at the end, as well. Cool. Let's keep that one. Okay, so I see Liquid Tension here, so I'm gonna get into like my Dream Theater stuff very soon. Yeah, I think When the Water Breaks, very cool. Or Paradigm Shift is like the first song I heard from these guys, but obviously I got into Dream Theater first before getting into these things, and I think that if you're listening to Dream Theater, you're eventually gonna find out like John, Jordan, and Mike have this like side thing with Tony Levin, and it's really sick stuff. Personally, I found myself enjoying the Liquid Tension stuff a little bit more compared to like Dream Theater's newer stuff. But to each their own, I suppose. Cool. That's a keep for sure. Okay, Linkin Park is here. I have a lot of Linkin Park stuff, and I have a lot of really rare kind of stuff that you can't find nowadays. That is okay. I think we're about to get into Green Day. So, oh, hang on. Oh, that's Sisters Mercy. That's the CD. I'm gonna just keep this one as well. Okay, cool. All right, 21st Century Breakdown. Probably the second album I got into after American Idiots. Yeah, this is like the other I don't know what the right term is. It's not like a concept album or anything like that, but they got like a whole a rock opera. I think this is another rock opera. I'm not sure, but I know American Idiot definitely was. Yeah, I'm gonna keep all the Green Day stuff as well. This was a band I got into at a very big period in my life where I was just starting to get into a little bit more different music than just like new metal. It was the same time I was getting into stuff like Metallica as well. So, and Simple Plan, obviously as well. I guess anything in particular. Oh yeah, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades is like it's such a fun song. Oh yeah, 21 Guns, probably the first thing I listened to from this album. Cool, I'm gonna keep that one. Okay, American Idiot, nothing much to say. This is like probably one of the best albums for sure. I used to listen to Jesus of Suburbia like a million times back in the day. It's like 9 minutes long or something like that, but like still most days I think about this song quite a lot. This is very cool. Yeah, it's just one of those albums that you can just listen to from the front to the back. Especially with that intro, American Idiot, and having What's Her Name. What's Her Name is one of my favorite songs by them. It just sounds so sad and at the same time very like sort of energetic. It does quite remind me a little bit of like Darren Gray stuff. Although they're completely different genres and stuff, but I think the kind of melancholy in that last song really does it for me. It's so saying this is one of the best albums. Like, I think the track placement is basically perfect I think Extraordinary Girl was the only really song I don't like. But yeah, let's keep this one for sure. Oh, I did say I was gonna keep all the Green Day stuff. Shenanigans. I know this has like a lot of the B-sides and stuff like that that are not on the main album. Yeah, another cool one here. Oh, International Super Hits. I think this is. What is this? This is like a bunch of their singles, I think. And I think this album was the first time I heard Jar or Jar. I got this album at a Salvos, I believe. I just walked in and I was like, hey, it's $3 and it's Green Day, so I might as well buy it. It's very cool to have. Alright, for some reason. Oh, wait, I thought that was Corn for some reason. Okay. Yeah, Warning. This came right after Nimrod, I'm pretty sure. And, yeah, a lot less heavy. I think Waiting is probably the song I remember the most on this album. And then maybe what else? Probably Warning as well with that. I know, I'm thinking of Walking Contradiction. It's not the right thing, but I remember Warning has a pretty funny video as well. Waiting is just... I mean, I was born 2001, so I don't really understand, but like, I think Waiting just really captured that early 2000s college vibe in that music video. It's pretty awesome. Nimrod, so I've got mixed feelings about this album. Like, it's a very long album. Is that the right word? No. It's got a lot of songs, and a lot of them are very short, like the original punk style. I remember Nice Guys Finish Last is always very fun. Platypus is pretty cool as well. That's like the really fast one as well. Yeah, I'm just looking at these songs, and half of them I remember straight away, half of them I just have no idea what they sound like. Oh, Good Riddance was like the one I listened to the most. Yeah, I think that was the song that got really popular outside of people who were into Green Day. So, yeah, what an interesting album. Not my favorite, but they got some of the weird stuff on there, which is cool. Okay, this is really funny that there's this double here. So it's got Insomniac and Dookie, and I'm pretty sure one of the discs is like half broken or something like that because it skips. Dookie was probably the first album that I learned how to play guitar with Green Day stuff on it. Like, I basically learned how to play the entire album, and then when I got bored, I would just play through from Burnout all the way to FOD. I don't know, in terms of like the difference between the two, Insomniac is way heavier. I think Dookie just, I don't know, it has more nostalgia value for me because that was the first album from Green Day I really just fell in love with. So let's jump in. Okay, now I've got the first two stuff, which is interesting. So it's either Kaplunk versus, I think it's 1039. Yeah. Slappy Hours. I'm not too sure which one I prefer. I think probably Kaplunk. They're both very great albums, and one of the things I remember the most is just watching that they did like, there was a very early video of them playing at like some kind of high school that they went to or something like that, and the footage looks really good for like 1990. If you're really into Green Day and you don't mind getting to early stuff, I would highly recommend checking out that video and just experiencing just these guys back when they were very young. Yeah. Okay, Mudvayne. And then Metallica, I'm pretty sure, coming up next. I'm happy to dump this album. I don't know why I have it, and I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to buy it. But hang on, I just want to make sure I'm not throwing out. Yeah, this is kind of like a weird B-side album or something like that. I'm gonna chuck it. On the other hand, though, LD50 is probably one of the best new metal albums of all time. Like it kind of weaves through very intricate, complex compositions, and it's sort of just a very weird mix between like prog and new metal. Just like really weird time signatures, especially on I want to say Nothing to Gain as well. This is really one of those albums I can listen to again from front to back and not get bored. It's got like everything, like it's got really crushing heaviness, and Chad's vocals are just insane on this album. Like he can go super aggressive, and then when he goes to, like, for example, Cradle as well, because Cradle has like pretty quiet bits, and then it just goes like super full on heavy with tempo changes and all that stuff as well. But I think really the cherry on the top on this album is Severed. It is such an amazing song. Like, I think Ryan has that really awesome bass solo in the middle of the song before it goes to the last chorus, I think. So it's a very special album to me. Again, I started listening to that stuff when I was probably around that period. I was just getting into different stuff. Okay, I'm gonna group all the Metallica stuff together. Oh, I got more Green Day in here. Okay. Black Album, Justice, Master. Okay, Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All. Yeah, I'm not really going against the grain, or maybe I am, for saying Justice is my favorite out of all of them. Probably Master of Puppets next, and then the all others kind of just blur into one. Yeah, I remember trying to learn Blackened on guitar, and that was the hardest thing. This was probably 2018, maybe. Master of Puppets, yeah. So I remember trying to learn these solos in guitar, and I was like, geez, these are really hard, what Kirk is doing. But I think the hardest bit was actually the rhythm stuff that James does. Like, it's super precise and fast. Kirk kind of just does like blues scales that are really just all in that, like, above the 12th fret. Why is everything out of order? That's so weird. Revolution Radio. I'm gonna keep that. Okay. I have 2 Gorillaz albums, and personally, I just tried to get into these guys, and I couldn't. So I'm gonna probably throw it away. Okay, we're getting into like pretty interesting stuff here. I want to get more into Iron Maiden. I don't have the album, but I really loved Fear of the Dark. And I think, yeah, Trooper was the first song by these guys, but basically before I was getting into a lot of power metal, I found out these guys. And then for some reason that power metal got me into like the symphonic stuff, which we'll see later on. Classic heavy metal with Judas Priest, Painkiller. I don't know, for some reason, like I haven't really dipped into Judas Priest too much. Like, I'm really not familiar with anything after Painkiller. Obviously, Breaking the Law was. I can't remember which one I listened to first. It was either Breaking the Law or Painkiller, but yeah, I think I need to give these guys another try. So I'm gonna put it there. I know the band has like some problems with their guitarists and stuff like that. Like I think it was either not Glenn. I think it was KK Downing. He got kicked out or something like that. Okay, if I could find more CDs of KMFDM, I would love to buy them. So I found about these guys because they did the soundtrack to Spider-Man 2, the video game. And then when I found it was an actual band, I was like, okay, that's cool. And yeah, so my German is not great, but I say Nile, but that's probably not right. Duke joined Jezebel, such a classic. Gonna keep that. I think the album with Megalomaniac is pretty good as well. Alright, we've got Korn coming up, which I'm gonna keep all of these. Okay. So I've got self-titled, Life is Peachy, Follow the Leader, and I've got Issues as well. I think Issues they did like 4 different cover versions or something like that, and I happened just to get the one that's not the most popular. I think the most popular one's the doll one here. Without a doubt, it's Follow the Leader. That's the best one out of these 4 here, and then probably followed by self-titled as well. Doesn't get any better than Blind on that. This album is just disgusting to listen to with like really good stereo speakers. Like it is just like, it's nasty. And then you got that Ice Cube song. Which one was it? It's Children of the Corn, I think. Which I still listen to sometimes. Yeah, sick album. Oh, I did buy this CD in year 9, and I put it in my school bag, like right at the very front. And you can see it's like a little bit cracked here. I actually heard the crack in my bag, and I pulled it out, and I was like, oh shit. Okay. I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna leave this one because I tried to get into these guys and I just couldn't. So, yeah. Yeah, that was I picked that up when I was getting into Nightwish and Epica, and stuff like that. What is this one? Oh, this is okay. We got Susie and the Banshees. I haven't listened to Juju in a very long time. Night Shift I listened to like a few days ago actually. I actually had a teacher at my school who was into these guys as well, and he's very encouraging of me just to like keep listening to Susie. So yeah. Oh, Arabian Nights is amazing. That kind of like chorusy guitar. It's very like I guess traditional that goth kind of style. I think they did it as well on Night Shift as well. But anyway, cool. All right, this is keeping. I do have another album of this. Yeah, this one here. This one was missing like a second disc or something like that, from what I remember. Yeah, the screen. Sorry, that's what it's called. Oh wait, no man, it is there. So what was wrong with this album? Maybe it was like broken or something. Yeah, I remember there's something up with this one. I think I bought this album just because I liked Hong Kong Garden and it was on like the second disc or something like that. But yeah, another one I really want to try again. Okay, once. I used to think this was my favorite Nightwish album. But then I listened to Oceanborn, and even just early today when I was doing Castlevania runs, I was listening to Sacrament of Wilderness, and I was like, yeah, this album is amazing. The mixing leaves a lot to be decided in those earlier albums, but I think it's still great. The live of which one was it? And they have a really big. I think it's Ghost Love School. The live version of that is still one of the greatest things they've ever done. With Taya. So yeah, let's keep this one. I think that's the only album I have by Nightwish. But I listen to all this stuff on Spotify anyway. Okay, now I've got a couple of My Chemical Romance stuff. I'll bring them all together because I'm going to keep all of them. So I have 3 Cheers, Bullets, Black Parade. I don't know if I'm going against the grain here when I say that Bullets is my favorite album by these guys. As a guitar player, there's so many interesting like melodies and harmonies that Frank and Ray do on here. Like for example, the very first song, which is no, the second one, has like bits of harmony. Vampires Will Never Hurt You is like it's the most like sort of bare bones music video you can come up with as like a band that's just starting out, but it's like so iconic. And I really love Drowning Lessons as well. That was such a sick song. I remember someone in my life very recently brought up Demolition Lovers, and that just really reminded me of this album. 3 Cheers has a lot of the iconic stuff on it as well. Obviously, I'm Not Okay. Helena is amazing. One of my favorite music videos by them. Thank You for the Venom is like it was like one of the first songs I heard by these guys that I was just like, wow, this is like pretty fast in terms of like the guitar riff, and it's actually not easy to do. It's like this climbing scale thing from what I remember. But yeah, cool. And then Black Parade. Yeah, I need to maybe listen to this album again because the only thing I'm very familiar with is Black Parade. So yeah, let's do that and keep it. I got to remember to get the Linkin Park stuff after. Epica. So I really haven't actually explored enough of these guys to say what their best album is. Well, I know Nightwish has kind of sizzled out over the years, especially after when Taya left. Epica kind of has maintained pretty well, I'd say. And, you know, this was a very good first album for me to listen to them. They had like a death cover on their early album or something like that, from what I remember. But anyway, yeah, just pretty fat mixes on this one here. I think Edge of the Blade and what's the other one here? It's probably Universal Death Squad were the first 2 songs I listened to by Epica. I think what is that? Yeah, Dancing in a Hurricane is still my favorite out of this one. Holographic Principle is cool. It's like their big song that they do. But I think Dancing in a Hurricane just has everything packed into that like 5 minutes. That's really good. So yeah, keeping this on. This was a very important album for me, as well as Once by Nightwish, in terms of just forming my modern taste for music. Alright, I think I can group all Dream Theater stuff because I'm going to keep them. Oh boy, I might be here for the next half an hour talking about them. I'll try not to do that. Cool, so I believe I've got everything from Images and Words up until... Oh no, Systematic Chaos, sorry. Cool. Systematic Chaos is okay. I mean, I think it was a very Mike Portnoy orientated album. Obviously Dark Eternal Night, such a classic. And Presence of Enemies as well. So, whoa, that was stupid. I'm just put it here. Okay. Right, let's not do that again. Change of Seasons. Obviously, I only listened to this album for the title song, with Derek on it. Yeah. Is this? No. Yeah, the big medley was cool. They did the Bohemian Rhapsody on that. So, okay, Falling into Infinity, polarizing album here. I don't think it's too bad. Now I think about it later on. It's certainly very different to, I don't know, Awake, for example, or Change of Seasons, but I think it's just fine what they did on here. Okay, and then we got Seeds from a Memory. I know what to say. This is a fantastic album, and I think I know like everyone says this when they listen to this, but like it's really top tier like composition. So yeah. A lot of people like Dance of Eternity, but honestly, I think probably Beyond This Life is one of their greatest songs. Oh, hang on, some of the CDs have started to escape. Right, I'm going way out of order here. Am I going? No, yeah. Train of thought. So if you just want to see how much energy this album has, watch the Budokan live in like 2004 or something like that. You can see the crowd really getting into this stuff. This is one of the heavy Mike Portnoy albums that I really like. I know some people don't like it because it's just like they're like, oh, it's too heavy and it's not enough prog, but I think the prog in it is fine. They need kind of like heavier stuff like this anyway, just to like make things different. Probably for me, This Dying Soul, Honor Thy Father, two favorites here. Oh, A Name of God as well. What an amazing way to close an album. So yeah, that is perfect. Yeah, 6 Degrees, Inner Turbulence. Yeah, basically I'm really listening to this album for Glass Prison and the whole of Disc 2, which is the entire big song. Yeah, really incredible. Yeah. I still haven't learned how to do the sweep picking shit at the start of Glass Prison. It's not easy. Octavarium is cool. It's kind of those albums you have to listen back, front to back, because of just the way all the songs kind of blend in together. I guess the highlight of this one would be, well, Panic Attack is probably one of the first Dream Theater songs I've ever heard, besides Pull Me Under. Yeah, I think Octavarium. I think everyone who's into prog should listen to Octavarium at least once, just to really see. Although sometimes you can tell they were just pushing to get 24 minutes exactly. Okay, out of the two classic ones, I have always been an Awake fan, and Awake is my favorite album by these guys. Images and Words is great. You know, Learning to Live especially. And I think, oh yeah, Metropolis Part 1, obviously, which basically started the whole Scenes from Memory thing. But Awake has a very dark, melancholic side to it, which they haven't been able to do again. And I found I think this was the first album John was using his 7th string, I think. Yeah, this album just really, really touched me, and that's why it's my favorite album by these guys. I have them on vinyl as well. Okay. This is an album with bodies on it. Oh, and Follow, which was in the Jeremy McGrath game that I speedrun. Besides that, there isn't really much point in. You know what? I might keep this one. I'm gonna try and listen to it again. Okay, Dragon Force. Again, not an actual album, just a compilation. bought this one in Sydney, I'm pretty sure, in like 2015, I think. Um, yeah, the only song I knew from them at the time was Through the Fire and the Flames. Um, then there was stuff like Soldiers of the Wasteland, which I really liked. Obviously Heroes of Our Time, Operation Ground and Pound. They have a Castlevania influence. I mean, one of their songs is called Symphony of the Night. Oh yeah, Valley of the Damned is great. That's like some of the older stuff. Um, I gotta say though, I like the albums more than the compilation. Especially the earlier stuff with I think it's ZP, it's the original singer. Um, I think the new guy's also really. It's not new. He's been there for a while. I think he's like pretty good too, but I think I just prefer the older singer. But anyway, I'm gonna keep it. Okay. Dark Throne. Okay, I've got the original. I've got the classic 3 plus the weird death metal album they did. I'm gonna keep it anyway. This one here. I think it's Soulside Journey. Okay. So, Transylvanian, Funeral Moon, and Blazing Northern Sky. I want to say Transylvanian Hunger is my favorite out of the 3. So obviously you can see this is a 2-disc set here, with very cool drawings on the inside. The mixing on the Transylvanian Hunger, it's always been the one that stood out to me the most because it sounds very just very bleak, I guess. These two are kind of just raw with the mixes, but if you really listen to Transylvanian Hunger, there's something about it that it just sounds very like sort of far away, and yeah, cool stuff. I think Under Funeral Moon though was the first album I listened to by them, and the Blazing Northern Sky was sort of the last one, I think. But yeah. Okay, we're actually running out of a little bit of space, but I think at least we've filtered out what to keep. I only have one Cannibal Corpse album, which is the Red Before Black. It's weird because like a lot of people I know don't like these guys, but I think they're just fine. Obviously, I wish I had some of their earlier albums as well, but I couldn't find them at the time. Probably just didn't want to sell them, I guess, because of the cover art. But yeah, this is a super fat album to chuck on, so I will definitely keep this one here. I mean, say what you want about these guys, but they have a really nice, thick guitar tone that's just right for the genre. Okay, Bloodstained Child. Oh, you can just where's my fucking there? This is probably one of the first Japanese bands I got into. And I really wish I had more of their albums like Epsilon. But and Mosaic as well. But this album has such a weird mix on it. But I really like Truth, and I think Final Sky is on this one. Or is it called something else? Yeah, it's called Final Sky. I don't know where else you're gonna get this album. I'm very lucky I found it at Dixon's, so I'm gonna keep this one here. Cool. The stage. So I've been a pretty big Avenged Sevenfold fan when I was a little bit younger, and there was so I listened to everything from the very first album, and then all the way up to Nightmare, and then there was this as well. This is the only album I have. Very interesting change musically, especially because I was so used to Waking the Fallen, and City of Evil. I think it's a fantastic album, and definitely the right sort of change in terms of where they were going. The recent stuff is pretty weird, especially that song we did for Call of Duty. I forgot what it's called. I'm not talking about Carry On. I'm talking about the very latest thing that they did. Yeah, it was just weird. I didn't like it at all. So yeah. Arch Enemy Water Power. I think this is a good album. Yeah, obviously I think Alyssa's not there anymore in the band actually, and Jeff Loomis is not there anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. This is a nice one to try on the stereo now that I'm a little bit older. Okay, Malice Miser. I haven't listened to. I haven't actually unboxed this yet because I'm very afraid to do so. But I really love Malice Miser, and this was given to me as a gift. So let me see what's actually on here. So you've got. Oh my god, my reflection again. I think it's the stuff from the first. Not the first two. The stuff with Gact. As well. Yeah, Illuminati. Au revoir, Lucille. I wonder if that's the single version of Lucille. That's the like the one that's on the actual album. So anyway, we'll see later on. But again, I'm very scared of unboxing this as well. Last one is Ghost here. Yes, Cerise is great. This is another album I got to listen to again, so I'm gonna definitely keep it. So you can see overall, I'm keeping actually a lot of these albums here, and I've only dumped like what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's probably 6 of those albums. So yeah, these will be going with me to my new home. I will be doing my best to get a CD player so I can just listen to this when I'm cooking or something like that, as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't have my vinyl here. They're all downstairs, but probably go through them another time as well. Anyway, this was a really good way to pass the hour when I'm not feeling tired, and now I'm a little bit more tired, so I might go to sleep. In fact, it's like 2:49 a.m. right now in Melbourne. So yeah.